Are you a beginner struggling with watercolors and finding yourself some common challenges? In this video, we will explore common struggles many new watercolor artists face, and I will offer practical solutions to help you overcome them. I wish I knew this when I started my watercolor journey. Before you go, hit the subscribe button so you guys can get weekly video updates from our channel. And let's get started, guys. Overworking the paper. Beginners tend to overwork the paper, leading to piling or damage. The solution is use a good watercolor paper with appropriate thickness at least 140 lb or 300 GSM. You can also use student grade watercolor paper, and it also comes with 140 lb or 300 GSM. Being said that it is also necessary to find a good student grade watercolor paper as well. Being said that it is necessary to pick a really good student grade watercolor paper because there is a lot of poorly made watercolor paper out there which leads to piling, damage, as well as bloating as soon as you paint with water. But I highly recommend using smaller professional grade watercolor papers. Some are which I highly recommend are Saunders, Waterford, Bowang, or Arches. So the next one is color mixing issues. The difficulty in achieving desired colors are getting muddy mixes. So a lot of beginners have problems in this. The solution is to experiment with a limited palette initially. So use fewer colors in your palette to mix different colors for it. And I have seen a lot of beginners use a lot of different colors in the palette and they ended up mixing a lot of colors together and it ended up being muddy. It is necessary to learn color theory and practice mixing using few colors. Using primary colors, red, color, and blue. For example, if you want to mix an orange, use a red and yellow instead of having an orange for it. The next one is uneven washes. There are sometimes I also struggle with it because sometimes when I use a poor quality watercolor paper, you do get a lot of uneven washes. In order to create a nice transition, smooth, even washes of color, and the solution is to practice controlling water to paint ratio and use large brushes and work quickly to maintain a consistent angle while painting. I do paint in a 30-degree angle because whenever I do a put down a wash at the top, it bleeds and creates this beautiful gradient for me, and it is harder for me to paint while it's flat. So it is necessary to practice a lot of gradients and washes going from light to dark and dark to light, mixing different colors and different color gradient washes to get comfortable with it. The next one is lack of control with water. There are a lot of beginners have hard time controlling the water flow or dealing with unwanted water blooms. So the easiest solution is to use a scrap of paper to understand the water behavior, or else blow out the excess water with a tissue or sponge. And this also requires a little bit of practice. When you start with watercolors, this is one of the things it's really hard to master. But as you get persistence in practice, it gets easier and easier. The next one is fear of making mistakes. Whenever I teach, I see a lot of students get hesitant to start due to making a mistake while they're painting. The solution is embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. Watercolor is forgiving as it allows for layering and lifting paint. You can use this by slowly layering your painting from light wash to a darker wash, or you can also use a tissue paper to lift off the paint from your watercolor painting. The next one is not using enough water. It also goes with the lack of control with water. It goes hand in hand. Because sometimes whenever I see a painting, it appears too dry or lack the characteristics of a transparency of a watercolor painting. Because watercolor is known for their transparency, the solution is to use more water to dilute the paint and slowly layer the watercolors to get the desired result. The next one is inaccurate drawing or sketching. Struggling with drawing or sketching, the subject before painting is really crucial. In watercolors, we can't go back and fix anything because watercolor doesn't work on layering and layering because it's known for the transparency. One solution is to trace the sketching before you paint. The other solution is to sketch smaller in a sketchbook to see the big major shapes in your reference, then transfer it to a watercolor paper and begin painting. The next one is rushing the drawing process. A lot of beginners get really impatient with the drying time, leading to smudges or unintended mixing of colors. The solution is to allow sufficient drying time between layers or use an air dryer on a low setting to speed up the process. You can also get rid of the excess paint from your brush using a tissue paper. This comes to a last one, not allowing to experiment. A lot of artists stuck up with one style. They don't try to explore different techniques or styles. The solution is to experiment with various techniques like wet on wet, dry brushing, salt effects, or lifting of paint using different tools such as tissue paper, or even using a knife to scratch out the paper to get desired effects. With that being said, remember, practice, patience, and experimentation are key to overcoming these challenges. Enjoy the process of learning and growing as a watercolor artist. Thanks again for watching this tutorial. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the video in the comment section below. If you have any other topics related to watercolors that you'd like me to cover, please reach out to me at watercolorimpressions@gmail.com or leave a comment down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for weekly uploads and share with your fellow artists, friends, and family. And good luck with your painting, folks.